This is Cult Faction Podcast, episode 16, Wizards, Witches, and Badass Bitches.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to Cult Faction Podcast, episode 16, Wizards, Witches, and Badass Bitches. I'm your host, Damien, and as ever, I am joined by...
Brett Summers.
And Paul Hawkins.
Cool. So, how's our week been? Anything exciting going down in Groovetown?
It's been a pretty cool week, I suppose. The sun's been out. It's been shining down. I spent most of it indoors watching television. Nothing's changed, really. It's not like I've got any friends to go out with or allowed out much.
I spent most of my time playing outside at the weekend.
You were allowed out?
In the back garden.
Fair enough.
Doing DIY, putting up fence panels, painting fence panels, barbecues.
Or as it's known, you were learning karate. yeah.
Paint the fence. Yeah. It was nice to get some fresh air.
Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I found a few old strange films that I gave a rewatch. Well, one of them for the first time because I thought I'd seen it and I hadn't. And it was a classic Australian cult movie.
Mad Max.
The Quiet Earth. Can anyone remember that one?
Oh, I saw you posting on that one.
Can't say it rings any bells.
It's there's only about 3 or 4 people in it, which is, but it works that way. It's this guy, he's doing like this experiment thing for the government, and it's never quite really explained what it is, but there's lots of machines and like some sort of weird flash of lightning, and then he wakes up and it's like he's the only person left on the earth, and he's like walking around and everything's very much 28 days later, when he's wandering around London and it's just all empty and stuff, but he hasn't got any zombies and stuff. And then eventually he bumps into a couple of other people and some things unravel slightly. But you get this whole bit for about the first sort of half hour, 40 minutes where he just sort of declares it. As time goes on, you can see his like mental health sort of going slightly downhill, and at one point he's got like almost like a toga on, declaring himself emperor of the planet because he's the only one there. And then he has like a tea party with cardboard cutouts of like famous figures, like Marilyn Monroe, I think was one of them. I think Hitler was there, just all different. And then gradually he bumps into people.
Like one of Paul's fever dreams.
It does a bit.
I was going to say, and this is in the 80s before mental health was actually a thing. In those days, you used to sort everything out with a cup of tea.
Well, probably, It probably announced that he was having a funny moment.
Yeah.
And then, but gradually he meets some people. Then he realizes his experiment might be what caused it to start with. So him and the other people come up with this plan, and then basically he does this thing at the end where he like blows up this station, which is where he used to work. But then when he wakes up again, this time instead of in the bed he was in before, he opens out and he's like on this really weird beach, and there's like I don't know if it is Saturn, but like basically there's like a planet with a ring around it in the horizon, and it's almost like he's sort of been transported somewhere else, and it sort of ends there. Kind of a weird one, but worth a watch.
That kind of rings a bell, like something I would have watched on late Friday night or Saturday night.
It is one of those ones
or something.
It was one of those ones that was probably on at about 2:00 in the morning on Channel 4 once, and you sort of watch it and have a week. I think it's from about 85. Yeah, no, that was a good film. I also watched the original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston.
Wow, you've really gone post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I know. I'm just in that kind of mood, I guess. And or maybe the fact it was on telly and I just got hooked into it again. But still stands up. People, the effects in that and the more modern ones were better in CGI and all that. But there's something about that the original that none of them ever recaptured, and that kind of
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, but Charlton Heston himself, there's a nice bit where he demands a gun. There is that bit where knowing about what you know about him now and his love of guns and the NRA and stuff, that did make me chuckle. But just that kind of the sort of battle against the establishment and the almost like the racism of it, because he's a human, he shouldn't have rights and all that. A lot of them focus more on the battle in the modern one. You didn't get that kind of human rights element and what's expected of people, and just because they're like that, they shouldn't be able to do that. It was the
cool thing I liked about the original was those were the days when men actually had body hair in films. So Charlton Heston had pretty much as much body hair as the apes. Not nowadays. The lead actors are all shaved. This was back in the good old days when men were men with proper body hair.
Yeah, there is a nice bit near the end where he's shaving with a razor blade as well, because
that's what men do.
Yeah, and there's a nice bit where one of the ape people says, "Like, I don't know why you've done that. All you humans just look the same to me anyway."
Did he find an old bottle of Brute? Down
He probably drunk that. He probably drunk that before because he's Charlton Heston. Yeah, so that was good. And then on Sunday, I watched Demonlover, the French neo-noir thriller by Oliver Assayas. It's got Colin Nielsen, Charles Berling, Chloe, is it Sevigny? However you say it in
Sevigny.
And that's a very much think Videodrome, but more for the modern era with the internet chucked in. So it's very weird and very good. But bizarrely, for a lot of the people in it, because it's a more or less like a French film, most of it is in French, even though most of the actresses are American. They're all just speaking fluent French with subtitles. Because at the start, I was like, in a minute it will switch back, and it didn't really. But it's just really strange. But yeah, very Videodrome, where like they're trying to get this anime stuff from this. They're like companies and all that. Then they find this other website that's got all this really weird sick stuff on it, and they want the rights to that so they'll get more money. And there's espionage, and certain people work for different companies and all that. And there's some violence in it and some really weird dark web stuff in there as well, like what goes on in that with people. And
so it sounds completely different to what I was expecting from the title. Demonlover sounds to me like it's some sort of horror film about a devil type.
No, I think Demonlover is the. I think it's the web. That's the name of the website in the end. Or the secret website that they don't know about, but it is. But it's there is some. To lack of it, there is some weird shit in that film, but it's kind of worth a watch. But but it is very weird. But yeah, so I've done that. Watched a few more Inside Number 9s. That's been really good. The BAFTA award-winning Inside Number 9 now, shall we say, or another BAFTA for them.
I don't think it's the first. It's one.
What else? What else did I? Oh, V's being rerun on the Sci-Fi Channel again, so always good. Back from the beginning of the original miniseries. So yeah, and that's still really, really good. So that's probably most of what I watched until I remember something in a minute and shout over you.
Yeah. So Paul, what televisual delights have you feasted your eyes on?
As I said, I was outside playing for a large part of the weekend and enjoying some cocktails and barbecues and all that kind of good stuff. But I did get in front of the box, as it were, and watched a few more Love, Death and Robots to had some me time. Also went through a couple of box sets this week. So we started off on the BBC. We've been doing a BBC box set every few weeks, depending on what's there and whether we run out of box sets. So we gave The Pact a go this week with loads of normal TV. I was going to say celebrities. Celebrities is probably the wrong word, but they've probably been in soap operas. So that you've got someone that was in Corrie, some other people in it as well.
Is this where there's like a murder and it's centered around a factory?
That's right. There's been a murder.
What is The Pact?
So The Pact. Let's take a step back. So it's set in Wales in a brewery, and yeah, there's Yeah, so it follows a lot of workers in the brewery. The owner's a complete tool, bit of a cokehead. He's basically taking over the factory from his dad, who's gone off for a better life. Anyway, as I said, he's a bit of an arse. Then one night at a party, he gets a bit drunk, gets a bit over friendly, shall we say, with a woman outside. The main women in the sorry, my little one was just saying night to me. Then I was distracted. The women, the main lead female characters see him, as I said, not attacking, but being a bit full on with another one of the workers. So they decide to play a prank on him. He's obviously very drunk and high on drugs at the time. So they shove him in the boot of their car, drive him to the woods, pull down his trousers and tie him up against a log, leave him there, go off on their merry way. And then next thing they know, the next day he's dead. And it turns out that someone's basically he's died of asphyxiation. So who did it? Why did they do it? And was it one of the factory workers? So what follows is the police
They make a pact not to mention what happened on that night.
Exactly. But as I said, one of the factory's workers' husband's police officer. I'm
imagining it's a small town where everyone knows everyone.
Exactly. Everybody knows their names. Again, the police officer has suspicions. They then get a text in episode 2, I think, demanding for money, a kind of I know what you did last summer type text. So they have to pay up, and then, I won't go into too much detail following on from that, but yeah, who did it and why did they do it comes at the last couple of episodes and kind of unravels. And there's the trials and tribulations of 4 female co-workers living with guilt of keeping this secret and trying to stay hidden, even though they didn't kill him, or did they, and trying to prove their innocence. So I didn't mind it, actually. Maybe that's because there was little else on, but no, the acting was sound. I mean, it's not going to win. Well, I was going to say it's not going to win any awards. It probably might for some of the BBC TV series that I've watched that got rave reviews. But it's okay. I mean, as I said, the performances are quite good. The I didn't write down her name, but the woman that was in Coronation Street.
Yeah, I know you mean. Is it Julie Henshaw or something like that?
Rings a bell. So she was in Roy's Cafes. She was married to Roy.
She's done quite a lot since she left Coronation Street, and most of it's been pretty good.
Yeah, no, the one, what's it called, with where Doctor Who was a detective, and like someone got murdered. Broadchurch, that was it.
Yeah,
Julie Hesmond. Oh, for the love of God, Julie Hesmond. Could be something like that.
Have you turned into Brett?
Yeah. I mean,
who else is in the program?
I just looked up her. I didn't look up the show.
Lots of good actors and actresses, or actors, as we should do refer to them as now.
This Life is in it. He was one of the housemates. Well, I guess all of them in This Life are one of the housemates, weren't they? To be fair, the Welsh one from This Life.
Oh, Miles.
I think I couldn't even tell you what character's name was now.
He was a detective in something, wasn't he, for a while?
He popped up in Midsummer's Murders for a couple of seasons.
That's right. There's lots of people that we don't know the names of that have been in episodes of shows that we don't know the names of.
Probably going to be another name I can't pronounce because he's Welsh, so it could be David or something. So
I don't think it was. The name doesn't ring a bell, but hey, as I said, it's okay. A few episodes, it doesn't drag on too much. It's done and dusted. That's the end of it. They probably will do a season 2 set somewhere else, similar vein to some of the other BBC documentaries and documentary dramas where they have a great idea and then they try and regurgitate it set somewhere else under the same storyline that there's going to be more people sharing a secret. But it was okay. So that was the Pact. Anyway, as I said, full of lots of people that we don't know the names of that been in stuff on telly that you
far
probably
much
know.
more time on it than you probably expected we would.
Yeah.
I really did.
And it was Jason Hughes who played.
Oh yeah, you get the easy one.
And Laura Fraser's in it as well. Cool. I'm an admirer of her.
There we go. So, so moving on, and in completely different tangent to the Pact, I went dystopian future as well and watched Sweet Tooth on Netflix, which when I saw the trailer, whenever it was a few weeks ago, I was kind of about whether I'd actually go off and watch it or whether it was any good. So we watched the whole box set over the last few nights.
And?
Yeah, no, as I said, we watched the whole box set over the last few nights.
Yeah, I'm just saying it was.
No, I'm joking with you. No, I really enjoyed it. So it's one of those odd things. I don't necessarily think it's going to be for everyone. You're going to get the love-hate type thing because obviously it's based on a comic, and some people won't like how it's being portrayed and all that kind of good stuff. The effects on film quality, I'd say. I mean, so let's set the scene. I'm not sure how much detail we were on about it a few weeks ago when we reviewed the trailer.
It's been trailered non-stop.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you've got this little hybrid kid called Gus that again is trying to survive, find his mum and dad. Well, mum in a post-apocalyptic world. There's a virus ravaging the planet when they're trying to find a cure using not really what's the best way to describe it? Not humane methods. But they're not humans; they're hybrids. But basically, to try and find a cure, they have to kill hybrids. So again, we go through some of those tangents. I think the thing for me is if the kid wasn't a good actor, or if you found him a bit too sickly sweet, then you'd absolutely hate this, because obviously it centers around him and his involvement with some of the other lead characters. But I found him okay. I didn't find him sickly sweet. He wasn't overly cute, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I forgive it some of its what I would say a bit over the top. I mean, you have the voiceovers at the start of every episode and at the end of every episode, which is almost a Grey's Anatomy kind of intro type thing every episode that's trying to set the scene. But I forgive it all of its sins, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't good, I wouldn't have binge watched the whole set over the last 3 nights. And yeah, looking forward to a season 2.
Ah, cool, because it's on my list to watch, and I was that sounds good. That's encouraging. It's encouraging.
As I said, so some of the special effects for the hybrids are more akin to something from an Australian kids program from the 90s, shall we say? When you look at some, when you look at some of the makeups of all the hybrids together at the last couple of episodes, you do kind of think, really? Because they've spent a lot of money on this, and some of the makeup looks really bad.
Maybe they ran out by that episode.
Yeah, maybe. But as I said, I forgive it its sins, and if it comes back bigger and better for season 2, then all well and good. But no, it was 8 episodes, 40 to 45 minutes each, and it's nice one where you can just put it on and escape for that time.
Cool. I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in, and I'm finding it a little bit slow, but still enjoyable. And I don't think the kid's annoying. I think he plays it really well.
Yeah,
it was him and his papa for 10 years. He's 10 years old, isn't he? Supposed to be 10 years old. So I think all of
I know
looking at the world in wonder is what you would expect from someone who's been like that.
Just kind of hark back to you remember AI with Hallie Joel Osment or whatever it was, and I absolutely hated it because he was just such an annoying character. And Gus isn't. He manages to do that kind of cute but not sickeningly cute. He's been isolated and sheltered, but everything's a bit of a wonder to him, but he doesn't do it over the top. And yeah, it was good.
Cool. Anything else?
Yes. I don't know whether I should say it. So I mentioned the other week. So I watched the original. Well, I watched the original Ghostbusters with the original cast from 1984, and for some reason, and as I said, don't hold it against me. The new one.
I know where you're going. Why did you?
The new one was on, and I just started watching it, and the next thing I know, it was 5 minutes from the end, and I just thought, what's happened? What's happened to me? And I think I was getting through it, thinking, is it really this bad? It can't be this bad, can it? I mean, surely, there's got to improve. It can't be as bad as I remembered, and it was. But I I don't know why. I just couldn't. I didn't turn off. Not that I couldn't. No one was forcing me, but I just didn't switch off.
I've got one for you. Thunder Force or that Ghostbusters? If you had to watch one again,
Ghostbusters.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's not as bad as Thunder. It's bad.
There you go, folks.
It's not that bad.
You had it from Damien Hicks. Yeah. I mean, again, I think Chris Hemsworth is probably for me the star of the film, and they managed to give him some funny scenes that again I still laughed at.
As a side note, did anyone catch that picture this week for Chris Hemsworth and Takiti? I can never say his name. From the finishing.
Are you having a stroke?
from the final scenes of Thor: Love and Thunder, and like Chris Hemsworth is jacked. He looks like Kevin Nash. He's got the hair coming down. He looks massive.
Well, I don't know whether it's actually a film set or whether it was him in training, but he looks ridiculously big now. I mean,
well, apparently his next role is he's going to be Hulk Hogan in the Hulk Hogan biopic. That's the big rumor. But he's definitely for that.
He looks bigger than Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure Hogan's not going to be upset about that. That's what I looked like when I was younger, brother.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. And he's got hair.
No, I mean, it's surprising. Although funny enough, because I watched Ghostbusters and he was looking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's still muscly, but compared to the shots in Thor, it's just completely different. I mean, like half the size or a third of the size of the muscle weight that he's got in Thor. Yeah, is he happy though? Is he happy having all that money and fame and a huge muscly body to go with it? I don't know. And that's me out. Peace out. Done.
Cool. What have you been watching, Damien?
So I've not really been watching a lot because my week has consisted of trying to build walls in my garage. So
that sounds like the start of the film.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, it sounds like the start of the Fred West movie.
It's a bit dark.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Moon, one man on his own for long periods of time.
No, I wasn't.
No, clearly not.
Welcome to my mindset.
Yeah, how your mind works, Summers. So I got through the first season of Warrior Nun, which I mentioned a couple of weeks back. It wasn't actually that bad in the end.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you got through the whole season.
Yeah, in all honesty, it was something easy to watch whilst I could munch away on Bombay Mix. And
exactly, there's nothing better.
Missing anything.
There's nothing better than watching, a weird nun go full ballistic while chopping down on Bombay Mix.
Exactly. Actually, it's Balti Mix. I got make sure I get that right. Balti Mix is so much better. Bombay Mix.
What brand of Balti Mix was it? Just have interest.
Has to be
just in case they're listening in.
Yep, Co-Fresh, send us all your Balti Mix because sometimes Tesco's don't have it online.
Although I must admit, you just reminded me of those pretzel bits that I used to get from the garage. I can't remember. Snyder's pretzel bits.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Just in case the the team from Snyder's are listening as well.
Yeah, they're good.
They did a really good chili pretzel mix.
Just as a side note, are Twiglets still a thing?
Yeah, they
I
are.
haven't seen Twiglets around for ages.
They're
Yeah,
a bit,
not
they
not.
get sticky on your fingers. It's not good.
That's the best bit.
And they're horrible, but you just keep eating them because they're there.
Yeah, no one knows.
We used to heat them up in the day, didn't we? We used to heat them up with lighters.
You used to try and burn everything in the day, Paul.
I was just warming them up to make them taste better. Once I found out that you couldn't burn them.
What do you eat whilst you're watching films? Let us know.
Yeah,
What are your snack recommendations?
Popcorn's so dead.
So last year.
So 80s. Oh, okay. So Warrior Nun was worth a watch then. Would you recommend it?
It really got going in the last 2 episodes, and so yeah. To be fair, I'm actually quite looking forward to the second season now. So bearing in mind, I think for the first 3 episodes when we talked about it on here before, says what a load of nonsense it is. Go on.
Do we need a sound effect for every time Damien has something that he enjoys?
I think his laughter is
There's
just
a lot I enjoy. I bet none of you have watched Psycho Gorman yet, have you?
No.
Fair point.
That's how I ended up watching Demonlover, because I was looking for it on the Arrow video app, and then I remembered it was on Shudder, not on that one.
What else have I been watching? So I watched Sweet Tooth, but we've just talked about that. And like I say, it's a bit slow, but I'm only 2 episodes in, so I'm sure if Paul, you managed to get all the way through it, there's got something to it, so probably carry on watching that. And because I bought a projector, obviously was trying it all out, and I was just running through the list of films that I've got on my hard drive, and Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors popped up. See that mind go.
Anyway, it's Dream Warriors on a projector. That must have been quite freaky.
It was brilliant. I'd forgotten how good it is.
I watched it Saturday.
It's a bit slow if you bearing in mind what horror films are like now. There's quite a lot of people sitting around in therapy talking, but I reckon it's the best of the lot.
Yeah. It's hands down the best Elm Street.
It's well worth a watch if you haven't watched it for a while. Go back and revisit it if you can. Get DVD, Blu-ray quality on a big screen projected on your living room wall. It's even better.
And always good to remember it was Lawrence Fishburne all along.
So yeah, that's it. That has been my televisual entertainment for the week.
That's cool. Can I bring the Hellraiser box set round?
No.
So is that what everyone? Oh, and I did watch. I'm still caught up on the. I just remembered I've caught up on the Bad Batch as well with the Star Wars new cartoon, and it's really good. And you should watch.
Well, I watched a few of them, and to be fair, it's okay, but it's like some of the other Star Wars cartoons out there. It's all right. I'm not. I don't have the urge to watch it all. If it's on telly on a Saturday morning, I would have watched it, but now it's all on VOD. Probably not going to go back to it.
I just watched it on Saturday morning, funny enough. I got up, put that on while I had my breakfast, and then I was ready to go outside and play.
Paul, did you ever finish Invincible?
No.
Good.
I tried again 2 weeks ago and fell asleep.
Fair enough.
Because you're watching it really late at night, or is it just because it was boring?
I just probably a bit of both, if I'm honest. It just doesn't do it for me. As I said, I just don't have the urge to watch it. It's okay. Does it keep me gripped? No, I'm just not fussed. I think I just watch that and think probably not as good as some of the other stuff out there. And just doesn't keep me entertained.
Drop zone.
Drop zone.
The drop zone. Clearly.
I thought it was longer than
that. I wasn't quite ready to come back in. First up in the drop zone is The House Next Door. Brett.
Okay, The House Next Door, or as it's also known, The House Next Door Meet the Blacks 2, is an upcoming American comedy horror film directed by Dion Taylor, and written by Taylor and Corey Harrell. It's a sequel to the 2016 movie Meet the Blacks, which I haven't seen. It stars Mike Epps and Cat Williams alongside Brisha Webb, Lil Duval, Zule Hanae, Tyrone Turner, Michael Blackstone, Andrew Batchelor, Gary Owen, and Danny Trejo. And in the film, Carl Black moves his family back to his childhood home where he encounters a mysterious new neighbor, played by Williams, who is a pimp who also may be a vampire.
That's it, is it? That's the
that is it. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it looks just like another Fright Night ripoff. Doesn't float my boat. I'm not a big fan of over-the-top horror comedy. Horror comedy makes its place. So, like American Werewolf in London, you could class as more of a horror comedy than a full-on horror, but it's played straight. This is just not played straight, so it doesn't appeal to me.
I'm going to use a registered trademark for this. I thought it looked arse gravy.
How dare you? How dare you use my?
No, but you're right. It just looked like scary movie that's just been rehashed. I almost expected Leslie Nielsen to turn up, as some
Yeah. No, I agree. It's
that kind of humour.
I think if it's on the TV, I'd probably watch it. I'm not going to be going to the cinema or paying for this at all. But I think it's been long enough since the sort of scary movies to churn out another one. I was scared to look how many years it has been, because it's probably been about 10 or 15 years.
Probably more like 20.
Yeah,
it's probably even longer since the first scary movie. I think the first scary movie was in the 90s. But there's about 5 or 6 of them, weren't there? But I think it's been long enough for someone to have another stab at it, if you will, with a little horror thing. But it's got Danny Trejo in, so some of that's going to be all right. But it's not hiding what it is. It does what it says on the tin. It is what it is, isn't it? It's not. I don't think it's major.
I just don't think it's a tin that I want to open. I want to keep that on the shelf of the DIY shop and just leave it there to rot. Cool. And then maybe when it's on special, I'll look at it and go, oh, do I want to spend 50p for that? No. And then I'll wait for them to throw it out into the rubbish and think, oh, look at what they're throwing away. Oh, do I want to pick that up? No. Other than that, I think you're right, Brett.
Well, fair enough. Such strong views for
It's just been done. It's just been done to death, and it's. Although saying that, I probably will watch it and absolutely love it, because there hasn't been one for 20 years or something. I don't know. I'll let you watch it first.
I just had a look. The last scary movie film was 2013.
Yeah, but there's probably a reason for that.
Okay, well that's the house next door then. There we go. So we'll move on to Motherland, Fort Salem, season 2.
Season 2. In the anticipated second season of Motherland, Fort Salem, Rayleigh, Tally, and Abigail confront higher stakes, dangerous magic, and a new threat from an ancient group of witch hunters, the Camarilla. In the first season, we saw a trio of young witches following the footsteps of their foremothers, defending the nation from the spree as part of the United States Army. Their training is intensified when they are promoted to attend War College, where their magic, relationships, and beliefs will be pushed to the limits. While General Adler seeks out new witches to join the wars to come, the spree and the army learn their fight may no longer be with one another. But how can two enemies work together to thwart a hatred that won't stop until all witches are exterminated? Right. I'm going to say season 1 was very good. I enjoyed season 1. It was very much kind of a reworking of American history, with witches helping win the Civil War and all that. And then there was like the spree were like sort of the one still trying to cause trouble and be against the government and all that sort of thing. And there was a lot of twists to the tale, and it was one of those shows where things moved on each episode. It didn't reset. It was a one ongoing story. So like people died, things happened, people switched sides, people there were consequences to actions. So if you sort of invested in the show, you did get payoffs as it went along. It wasn't like one of these where every half hour it resets again, everything's fine again next week. Like sort of like that. It did move on. It covered a lot of ground, and season 2 will be interesting. Sounds like the concept's moved on a little bit, but that's not a bad thing. Just because you don't necessarily want to see the same thing over again. But the both sides now teaming up against sort of the hatred that people have towards witches now, I guess, is a kind of very topical at the moment as well, with all the different social issues going on around the world, without picking anyone out in particular.
So I've not seen season 1. This didn't necessarily make me want to go and watch season 1 so that I could rush to watch season 2. It just looked a bit like another young adult angsty drama, but instead
No, it is, but it's a lot more.
They're witches.
I would say the consequence is a bit more turned up. It's almost Arrowversey in its way, that kind of thing. Like I said, the teen drama a bit, but then they've got powers, right? But there's a lot more. When things happen, it happens a lot more seriously than it does in some of the other shows. Like there's some quite graphic deaths and things like that, and killings that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a show like this. And a few murders, and a couple of them you've got to work out who it is. And at one point, a bomb goes off, and that's quite freaky. And it's a bit more.
You know what? You've made me decide to watch season 1.
Give it a go. It's on. I believe it's on iPlayer at the moment.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of this before. And when I got the link, I thought it was the BBC TV sitcom about those middle class mothers. I thought, are they doing some spoof?
Which is also good.
No, it is. They go to Salem. Wow, what is this? That could be a really good episode.
I think that's how the Fort Salem bit got chucked on the end. I don't know if in America it might just be Motherland, but it's sort of.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I thought the trailer looked alright. I don't know why the first series passed me by, but I'd probably watch it. So yeah, I will check out the first series.
I think it was the classic BBC thing of where they buy a series that's done all right in America, and then chuck it on at 1:45 in the morning and go, well, no one's watching it.
Yeah, couldn't see any werewolves there, Damien. So saying that's a bit of a winner.
It's a positive because
no, exactly.
Films, yes. Television, no.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. If we're done, I think it's time to move on to The Last Mercenary.
The Last Mercenary.
Now, hang on. So this is a French film. Are you sure you want to actually do the actors' names?
Oh,
yeah, it's a French film. The Last Mercenary is directed by David Charon, and it stars Jean-Claude Van Damme and Alban Ivanov.
Okay.
Take that. And it involves a mysterious secret agent, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who has been denounced by his government and must return to France when his son becomes framed by an international terrorist organization. That's all they gave us. That is literally. Oh no, and it streams on Netflix July the 30th, 2021. That is literally all they gave us, and a poster.
Fair enough.
So the opening shot where you see the silhouette of someone doing splits hanging from the ceiling, I was there going, that can't be Jean-Claude Van Damme, surely. And then lo and behold, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, but at least he's not doing lager adverts anymore. He's gone back into the film business. I might watch it, because there's little else on in regards to action films. That's new. I say that I'm trying to convince myself.
Jumped right up to the top of my list. The man that sells Coors Light in a wig, fighting to dance music. What's not to like?
And we know you're a Time Cop fan, so
exactly.
Has there been an action star that rose as quickly and fell as quickly as Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Dolph Lundgren?
But he was never, he
wasn't
was
as big as Jean-Claude. I don't think.
Well, no, exactly. But he rose quickly and then fell quickly. Well, hold on, Masters of the Universe, Rocky 4. He was quite big.
Yeah, but he still maintained their level up. Like, yeah, but people still like Dolph Lundgren. Van Damme kind of went through we liked Bloodsport, we liked Kickboxer. There was a few others, and then it was like, screw you, Van Damme, and then he just couldn't seem to get anything for years, and then ended up in the Expendables. A bit like
Dolph
a bit
Lundgren?
like Dolph Lundgren. No, Dolph Lundgren had
Do you want to prove my point anymore? Or
that John? No, what's the John Woo film with them? Was it Blackjack? Yeah, Blackjack, where he plays the FBI secret agent who's scared of anything that's white. He really is, and he's got a phobia of white things.
How have I missed that?
And it's directed by John Woo, so like it looks amazing, but it is,
Was that
John,
back when
let's put it this way.
Saturated with John Woo films?
No, this was like one of the first John Woo films, and then it's an interesting one that when they do John Woo seasons, that one's never really on it.
Maybe
Leaving John Woo, I think John Woo's like, I've worked with other people since now, but it's worth checking out just for the fact that like we've got this badass hero who can do all this cool stuff. How can we what weakness can we give him? Let's make him scared of anything that's white.
Is it set in Antarctica?
No. It's but it's not bad. But Van Damme, I don't know. I don't know if he's as funny because this looks a bit tongue in cheek to me. But I don't know with Van Damme. You know what I mean? It's like, is he in on the joke now? I don't know if Jean-Claude Van Damme's as funny when he's in on the joke
or not, because we as the audience will be. So.
Yeah, but if he's laughing with us, I more want to laugh at him than with him.
After the Coors Light adverts, he's in on the jokes.
It's got to be, isn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll probably end up watching it. It might get an airing on my television.
I'm sure it's looking forward to that.
Well, it will be. At least I'm not taking it, picking it up, and chucking it out in the road or whatever you were doing with the other movie.
Leaving it on a shelf in some DIY store to then be put into the bargain bucket, then not even escape the bargain bucket, and eventually end up in a skip out the back.
Yeah,
it's not going down that route. Okay, so that's the last Mercenary. Mixed
bag. Mixed reviews,
reviews in that one.
Well, not even reviews, really. just random opinions of little that we've seen,
and then sort of turned it back round. But anyway,
and Dolph Lundgren's that's not even in the film.
That's the power of Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
it wasn't until he fell quicker than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but I think he fell quicker.
Yeah. Thanks,
but was he really that high up? That was my point for Dolph Lundgren. He had Rocky 4 and
Masters of the Universe.
But
Masters of the Universe was what probably killed him. To be fair.
Yeah, so he kind of came up and went down again. But it was whereas Van Damme had 5 or 6 actual designated blockbusters. What they had? Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Universal Soldier,
Time Cop.
The one where he plays twins, Double Impact.
I forgot about that.
I thought you'd get confused with Twins with Danny DeVito. Then it's like, no, he wasn't in that. That was a Schwarzenegger.
It was DeVito's stunt double.
You can tell him that.
Anyway, should we move on before this gets any worse?
Yeah, this isn't a Dolph Lundgren come Jean-Claude Van Damme special.
No,
that's next week, folks.
If you want one of them, then we'll
let us know.
Together.
What we got next, though?
Next, we have I'm guessing it's a teaser trailer more than a trailer, judging by.
Oh yeah.
Shazam.
Oh, Shazam!
If it's even worth any blurb, I don't think. Is there any blurb?
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
There's always blurb. There's always
blurb. I don't know why did I.
It comes out June 3rd, 2023. Looks like they've upped it a little because the original Shazam was more the DC universe, but sort of aimed more for kids. This looks like a little bit more. It's gone a bit more serious and a bit upmarket, and he's got a different outfit on, which reflects the DC New 52 outfit. And Damien, he doesn't have a cape anymore.
Still wearing spandex though, isn't he?
I wouldn't call it spandex. It looks more sort
I
of.
call it spandex. Anything like that, as far as I'm concerned, is spandex. Cape or no.
But people are excited because the Rock might be in it as well because he's doing the Black Adam, who's like the villain. But whether it crosses over or not, because there's a Black Adam movie as well, so there's a lot of speculation at the moment, and hopefully for good reasons, because at least it looks like they might have a plan in place for some of their movies rather than just chucking them all out and hoping like, but if they make it black and white, it'll be good.
Fair enough. I mean, my notes for this is I found it hilarious. I've not seen the fourth wall being broke like that for at least a week. So it really brightened up my week.
I can tell. I wasn't overly enamored with the Shazam film, the first one. I don't know. I mean, you're right. There's not much to go on with this. I mean, it didn't come out for another couple of years. It does look like they've tried to completely forget about the first one in a lot of the production or how it's been, or how he's being portrayed, and I think it's a good thing. It just seems a bit strange if it's that big a U-turn, as opposed to just saying, let's just forget it.
Well, are you saying that you think that DC might not have any plans for their movies?
Well, yeah, I don't know. A lot of other people would probably say, "Well, that didn't work." Oh well, let's put that on the chalkboard as someone we're not going to go and revisit. But then, you can imagine the production team saying, "Well, actually, we don't really have any ideas. What about Shazam? Oh, we've done that. Oh, well, we could do it. We could do it better, couldn't we?"
Well, the only reason I think this one come out is because they'd already signed The Rock to be Black Adam and its own one. So they're almost. I think this is the DC, almost like the Spider-Man sort of version, where it's kind of it's its own thing in its own right, and it's also going to link into their other movies. Although none of their other movies link in together anymore, and they forgot all about it. But it all goes back to the Warner Brothers office of actually planning out. Marvel did like a 20-year plan and made sure every detail was covered. DC have just thrown a bunch of shit at a wall and seen what sticks. And most
as I said, I'm still scarred from the first one. So if they can undo some of that damage with the new film, then good luck to them.
It made a lot of money though, the first one. I think it's after Wonder Woman. I think that's the biggest. Or it was the biggest. I don't know if the Snyder Cut has overtaken it now. But people liked it. It was a hit. I wasn't that bothered. It started off right, then it just got really boring really quickly. But
yeah.
But yeah,
maybe that's because more kids could watch that one. I don't know.
Might be.
Anywho, I'm on the fence.
Cool.
I'm not.
And I'm not sure either. So we'll see what happens on that one.
So 2 fence sitters, and I'm right at the bottom of the fence, sat on the floor, getting some sunshine and a little bit of shade.
Like a little gnome.
Like a little gnome, yeah, I like that.
Garden gnome.
A little gnome that doesn't want to watch films involving spandex and or capes.
No capes in this one.
No, there's no capes, but I wouldn't put it past them. Maybe the villains will have a cape. There'll be a cape somewhere.
You're getting a cape for your birthday.
Mark my words. Anyway, that takes us on to the final film, possibly.
Trailer?
Yeah, film. It is a film, but it is a teaser trailer again.
Another teaser trailer for America, the motion picture.
Well, it was more of a teaser trailer than Shazam, as in the fact that there was more to it, as opposed to it was just like blink and gone.
Yeah, America, the motion picture, you say? Yeah, well, that is. I'm going to read out what they sent us because it's written in a particular way. So, for like 1,000 years, the origin of the United States of America has remained shrouded in mystery, lost to the sands of time. Who built this country? 'Tis a they, and why? Only the dinosaurs know until now. For the first time in human history, the incredible, completely true story of America's origins are revealed in America the Motion Picture, a once-in-a-lifetime cultural event available the only way the Founding Fathers ever intended their story to be told, on Netflix, on your phone, June the 30th, 2021. And it stars Channing Tatum, Jason Mantzoukas, Olivia Munn, Judy Greer, Bobby Moynihan, Raoul Max Trujillo, Killer Mike, Adam Sandberg, Will Forte, and Simon Pegg.
As the bad English guy.
Yeah. And basically, it's a crazy cartoon movie or animated motion picture of apparently how America was formed, and it involved a lot of violence and lots of swearing. And Abraham Lincoln has took a lot of steroids in this trailer.
Yeah, I think there's a heavy dose of sarcasm throughout the film, but I thought it looked quite funny. I think I need to watch the trailer again to fully grasp what it's all about. I only watched it once.
I don't remember RoboCop being involved in the founding of America. He's there too. But I think we've got a new favourite that may take over and maybe pick up the gauntlet thrown down by Team America World Police and run it.
Oh man,
that's weird.
That's weird that you just said that, because I was literally just I was getting myself ready for my little 5 minutes, and I was saying, well, I was assuming when I first saw the trailer to Team America World Police, I was dissing that. Then I actually watched the film and it's really funny. This could be the same. I was just a bit gutted that they went for the cartoon action as opposed to the puppets from Team America World Police. Yeah, so I'm going to watch it because I'm not going to hold myself back as I was for the old Team America film. I think you just need to embrace it. It's going to be silliness, swearing, fighting, ridiculousness. Embrace the madness.
Hell yeah!
Excellent. So we're all on board for that one.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like we're all on board for that. So we are
a rarity.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit shocked. I don't know what to say. All three of us are in agreement about less than 2-minute trailer.
Well, could that be a review special? Could that be a review special episode if it's something we all actually want to watch?
We could watch it around Damien's on his projector.
Yeah.
When's it released? June the yeah. If I've got the bar built by then, that could be our watch along episode or something.
Just get Nick Knowles around.
He's not coming anywhere.
He doesn't come to homes. No, yeah, he can't do it, can he? Because he does a cereal advert on for Kellogg's or something like that. So he's not allowed to be on DIY SOS until that run of adverts is finished.
Ah, blimey! All those poor people going without.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't even give them free cereals. Bastard.
Anyway, before we go,
and if only Jonathan Ross would do the same thing, because he's on every bloody TV show.
I'm just going to see this tangent run its course. You carry on.
We're done.
Cool. Right. Last up in the drop zone is Blood Red Sky.
Yeah, Blood Red Sky. Here we go. Directed by Peter Forworth, Blood Red Sky follows a woman with a mysterious illness who is forced into action when a group of terrorists attempt to hijack a transatlantic overnight flight. In order to protect her son, she will have to reveal a dark secret and unleash the inner monster she has fought to hide. It stars Roland Moller, Perry Baumeister, Chidi Ajifu, and Alexander Scheer, and also, who's not mentioned but is very prominent in the trailer, is Heatwave himself from the Legends of Tomorrow, Dominic Purcell, who is also in Prison Break as well. He's one of the terrorist dudes.
Yeah, I don't get why he's not listed in the in the
Yeah,
blurb.
he's not in the blurb they gave us,
I
but
wasn't.
he's definitely in the trailer.
Oh, it's another hijack film. There's some weirdness going on, and then suddenly he pops up. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. It was
Yeah, I
the
like
original
him.
after
He's
all.
good.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a strange one.
But what I like is the picture they gave us and the blurb, which you can see on cultfaction.com, is hints at this, she's got a dark secret. It could be on. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be a bit like Nobody, and she was like some kick-ass secret agent, and there might, and they don't know what they've let themselves in for, a Die Hard type thing, something like that. But no, you kind of see it in the teaser trailer.
Last couple
She
of
would,
seconds,
it would appear she is a vampire, and that's her mysterious illness.
Vampires on the plane.
Yeah.
Yep. But it still looks all right though for what it
I
is.
was trying to think after I saw it. Has there ever been literally what you just said, Paul? Vampires on a plane? And I'm not
But
sure
they
there has
they
been.
can fly, can't they?
Well, yeah.
They did the bit in Dracula AD where he was in a coffin on the plane. I think he gets out, kills a few people, and then escapes the plane. But I don't think it's been permanently, trapped in the plane as a setting for the whole movie. As far as I remember, we may be wrong. Let us know. Have vampires been on planes before? Did they like it? What was the service like? Where did they sit? Let us know, people.
I guess they've got to be really careful going on a plane, haven't they? Because obviously, depending on where they're going, the sun's going to come up.
Yeah. And
unless they're in the hold. Yeah.
Would you like a window seat? No.
It's probably quite a lot of garlic in the meals.
Exactly. And they have to really up the flavors on airplanes as well because of the less smell and taste.
Yeah. So there's a lot
of airplane water. Airplane water always tastes funny.
Isn't not holy.
Recycle.
Yeah, it might be recycled holy water. You don't know. It's been blessed. But yeah, it looks all right, I suppose. I think again it drops on. I've just clicked off it now, but that's the teaser trailer. So we'll probably give it about a few weeks and we'll get the full trailer. But I'm guessing sort of July, August. But I've clicked off it now.
Coming soon in 2023.
Yeah, but yeah, I did think that Dominic Purcell's probably the biggest star on that trailer that most people would recognise and know from either Prison Break or the Arrowverse or Legends, whatever. And yeah, he's not even really mentioned.
It's very strange, unless they were trying to keep it as a reveal, and then someone buggered up the trailer.
Yeah, because I think the trailer reveals a little bit too much, really. Yeah. I'd have liked to have just seen her looking a bit mad and maybe an eye go funny or something like that. We didn't need to see the full. But yeah, especially for a teaser trailer, the full one's coming. You could have dropped that in the full one, or maybe there's more yet. Maybe there's a bigger twist to come. I doubt it, but maybe.
Maybe they're all vampires. It's a plane of vampires.
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes just turns up as a flight attendant.
Yeah, he's like, I should still be Blade. It's like, you've been recast, mate. Move on.
Does anyone want some nuts?
Always bet on black. That was the other film where he was on a plane. Passenger 57, I believe.
Yep, I think you're right.
I wasn't making a derogatory comment at all. I was quoting him from a film.
I was just wondering what film Robbie Coltrane was in with your accent. That's all.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Passenger 57.
That's a mashup.
Yeah, and a tangent we're not going to go down right now. So I think that ends the drop zone and takes us on to...
Can we do that one week? Best film mashups ever. You have to take two obscure films and put them together in one mix. That just blows every other film out of the water.
I'm liking that. Yeah.
Well, and they're kind of like Debbie does Schindler's List.
Well, now that's really weird because I was going to say Schindler's List, the Escape to Victory, but yours beats mine. But I just don't know why we were both thinking Schindler's List. Maybe because we were trying to think of one of the most depressed. Well, not depressing, but stark films.
I've livened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Put a bit more sunshine into the movie. But moving on swiftly before we get taken off air. Wow.
So I have a feeling that won't be on air.
News desk.
The news.
News items.
Time for the news.
Okay, our first news item. Paul, you're going to be upset at this one.
Okay, I wonder where we're going then.
It's been cancelled, Paul.
Yeah, I know, and I blame you two for that. As I said to you on WhatsApp the other day, there's three of us in this holy trinity of podcasters, and you two voted against me, and because of that, the production companies have listened, and Jupiter's Ask Gravy isn't getting a season 2.
Can't say
Which
I'm
are-
disappointed.
Well, I am a little bit disappointed, but hey, powers that be have made their decision.
I would have watched. I probably would have watched the season 2, but we kind of called most of
Well,
it in
too
season
late
1.
now, isn't it? You can't backtrack. Yeah, you're not going to save it now.
But I think half of it. I think Jupiter's Legacy is. Oh, you're a little bit quiet then, sir.
So there could be a Twitter campaign. You never know.
Oh yeah, there's always a Twitter campaign for something. But I think half of it, Mark Miller, the creator, I think they've given him a new series for one of his other projects. So I reckon he had a kind of, you can make season 2 of that or make a season 1 of that. And he's opted, I think, for the other one maybe. So I don't know. I don't know what the real backroom thing on that is. But yeah, Jupiter's Legacy has been cancelled after 1 season now. That is one of our news items.
So if you're really upset about that, get your Twitter campaign going now. Restore the Ask Gravy. Hashtag. Do it now.
Make sure to copy Paul into your tweets because he'll be there as well, fighting beside you.
Spearheading the campaign.
We'll be watching from the sidelines, like the daughter in Jupiter's Legacy who didn't really care but just turned up for the main bits. I've forgotten her name now.
I get off with a bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's the one. That's us. Okay, other news items. We have had Big Finish, the audio company, have released Out of Time 2, The Gates of Hell, which it's a Doctor Who special featuring the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, and the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison, as they team up to face the Cybermen. I mean, always good to see Tennant and Davison back together on screen. They did that short special before, but you've got
on screen. This is an audio drama.
Yeah, no, but they did one on screen before. They did a short one on screen for. But you've got the son-in-law and father-in-law teaming up, and for a little adventure. Big Finish do some cool audio stuff, and they do seem to be getting lots of business these days with all the different things they're doing. I mean, Doctor Who's one of the big ones, but they've done loads of other shows as well. Mark Gatiss and Nicholas Briggs and Shelley Connor involved in the audio drama as well. Paul, you're a bit of a Whovian. Does it appeal to you?
I'm not Whovian as such. I resent that.
You like Doctor Who?
Yeah, I know, but it just reminds me of Horton and the Whovilles or whatever they were.
Okay.
I like Doctor Who. Although saying that, I haven't watched the last 3 or 4 seasons. I like this, but I like David Tennant. So yeah, this does appeal more to me than if it was one of the later Doctor Who's, shall we say?
I think I'd be interested if Sylvester McCoy was in there as well.
Oh, he's in every bloody thing out there. Jesus. It's not hard to get, is he?
He's got some audio adventures, so you never
There's
know.
loads of them out there.
So that's out there. Other news items we got. We did have the sad news that Clarence Williams III passed away at age 81. Rose to fame big time from his role in the Mod Squad, and he was also Prince's dad in the Purple Rain. He was in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Half Baked, Reindeer Games, American Gangster. He was in Twin Peaks. The man's been in everything. You'd recognise him even if you didn't recognise the name. And he was battling colon cancer, and he passed away last Friday. So that was Clarence William III. Also, and on a positive note, I was trying to remember. Was it Paul? Was it you that liked Shadow and Bone?
No,
What was the one you liked? I thought
No.
no, it didn't.
no.
What was the one you liked where they
No, so
travelled across?
It was Shadow and Bone that I really liked the trailer for. Then started watching it, and then it was just really, really, really slow, and didn't really go anywhere for me.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah.
it's got a season. It's gone to a season 2.
Yeah, I
Netflix
know.
have given it a
Which makes
series.
me think maybe I need to pick up where I left off, and maybe it does get better. Maybe that was just in the lull period of
Did
the
you not
season.
finish it?
No,
Oh, okay.
but
I don't
as
necessarily get
I said, I
with
was going through
cancer.
the lull period. I think when it was trying to build up everything, and it was really a bit slow. But I didn't push on through. I didn't break on through the void, or
No,
whatever
it
they call the
maintains
black
that
mist.
all the way through. It's not.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's not
the
great. But it's
power,
not bad either.
the power of the Grishaverse has summoned another season. That's how they announced it. So if you know what the Grishaverse is, that might mean something.
Relatively easy, isn't it? It's already a series of books, so they've got, whether the casual viewer like us, people that don't know the books and kind of take it or leave it, whether we like it or not, is probably irrelevant to the producers, the showrunners, because there's an audience out there that buy the books. Millions of those books have sold, so I don't think there's not really a risk to take, if that makes sense. It's going to get watched regardless, so it doesn't come as a
And it
surprise
has,
to me that it's been renewed.
and the Netflix thing as well is just a those sort of teen dramas that they've got going on there. They've got the Riverdale and all that. They've just got groups ready to just like binge the next series. So it's whatever, once that one finishes, they'll watch Riverdale. Once that finishes, they'll watch this. Once that finishes,
Yeah,
they'll
exactly.
find something out. It's you've got a conveyor belt now, and yeah, but you've got another 8 episodes coming up. It's going to be season 1 was 8 episodes. Season 2 will also be 8 episodes. Apparently it was deemed a well-balanced and promising introduction into the franchise's fantastical universe. That was what they said about it. So I've yet to watch any of it apart from what you guys have told me. So maybe I need to get into this fantastical universe and just see what the fuss is about. Because in a time when Netflix have sort of, some shows are or things like Jupiter's Legacy are getting cancelled. This is getting a second series. The axe is falling on quite a few things lately, so we'll see what happens, I guess. And maybe I should check this out. Because now it has got a season 2, I'm more interested. And our last item on the news desk this week was the fact that Netflix and Neil Gaiman have shared a behind-the-scenes look on his upcoming Sandman TV series adaptation, based on obviously the Sandman series of comics from DC's Vertigo Press in years gone by. And to be honest, it looks really good, and I'm quite excited about the TV series now.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Well, yeah. So I was a bit of a fan of the comics back, however many years ago it was, and yes, it's going to be slightly different from the comics, as we all know from some of the snippets of the cast and everything that's been out on Twitter recently. But I don't care. Now Gaiman's heavily involved in this. It's his baby. He can do what he wants really and bring it to the screen. If people don't like it, they don't like it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Damien, are you familiar with the work of the Sandman? I'm Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Yeah, I think
cool.
What we saw on the screen just then was it makes it look good, but then American Gods looked really good when they were doing all the teasers and the run up to that. But the pacing and everything else just made it nowhere near as good as the books. So, as you know, I'm not one for this character wouldn't have done that in the book, but why is he doing that on screen? I think the owner of the not copyright, that's not the right word, the author, the person that created it, has the right freedom to do whatever they want with the character or whatever. But I think it is going to suffer from that kind of backlash that you get when this stuff happens.
Oh yeah, there always will. But
Yeah,
I mean, the audio drama was really good. They got it right on that. That had a massive cast, and I think that was testing the water for this. So I've got confidence in what's to come. No confidence in the fandom that will probably just trash it. But
exactly. And I hope
you know,
it's a success and he moves on to Neverwhere, because the
yeah, we need
appalling
Neverwhere again.
90s version of that was not
It
good.
wasn't appalling. It wasn't. I wouldn't say the cast were bad. It was
No,
just
there's nothing
more
wrong with
the
the cast. It's
production
just
of it.
production and as you've said, not on this podcast, but the conversations we've had, the direction it went with the money and the budget made it pretty piss poor, to be honest.
Yeah, they
There
got screwed over.
was a much better audio version of it on BBC iPlayer or Radio Player or whatever. There's probably BBC Sounds now, isn't it? I don't know if it's still on there, but
That was Lara Fraser as well, wasn't it? She was in that, and
she was,
who was
yeah.
in that one? Paul was on about from the Pact as well. Yeah, so yeah, she's turned up a few times tonight.
Yeah.
And Paul McCartney from Backbeat. That's it. I've forgotten the actor's name, but he was Paul McCartney in Backbeat. That's it. I remember.
Couldn't tell you.
He was the main bloke, and then
I meant I couldn't tell you his name. I know you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name.
So yeah, but I guess what we've saw in that teaser isn't necessarily the finished product. It was good to see a tour around some of the sets and props and stuff like that, and all looks the part.
What I liked about it was Neil Gaiman's reaction to some of it himself. Of like, this is stuff he's dreamed up and thought, and he walked on set and it freaked him out. So it's got to be good.
Yeah, I mean, like what you said, this is made for fans by fans. So if they pour the love into it that most people feel for the comics, then it should be onto a winner. But
I definitely hope so.
God, I would have said the same thing about that 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever it first came out. And production-wise, it was really good, but the pacing was just all off.
Preacher was a bit like that for me as well, and I loved Preacher. And everyone in it was good, but the boys got it right, but Preacher didn't quite get it right for me, and I got a bit bored. And you don't get bored with Preacher.
I never went back for season 2 of Preacher. It didn't.
Yeah.
It was like when it ended, I thought, oh, it was all right. But when I saw season 2 being trailed, it's like, a bit like we say it quite a lot. Yeah, I might watch that on a rainy Sunday afternoon. But there's always something more interesting or something more engaging that you want to watch. I feel like that. I'm like that. Have you watched the second season of Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did in the end. It's only recently I finished it because I was scared to watch it because I really liked season 1. I didn't want season 2 to be awful. They've released today. They've released the episode names of season 3 because Netflix are running their Geek Week this week where they're just dropping all sorts of teasers. And I have got a big update in a second that's just come out as we're on air.
Ooh.
I know you're excited. Right, we've got. Netflix have just announced, literally in the next half an hour, that the second season
in the
of
next
Locke
half hour.
They've announced it in the next. They've mastered time travel.
Breaking news at time of recording: Lock and Key season 2 will hit Netflix this October. They've released a whole bunch of images that look really cool. There's no trailer yet. But also, they have already announced that they have greenlit a season 3 even before season 2 has aired. So Lock and Key will be back. Really good.
Yeah.
And a nice few twists and turns along the way. And Carlton Cruise.
Some of the twists, or some of the twists were kind of signposted, but only if you if you're a bit geeky like us anyway and watch shows and look out for those things. But I think for the average casual viewer, probably wouldn't have.
But I think as well, it was almost signposted on purpose because then there was another one that wasn't. Do you get what I mean? It's almost like it was almost like the sleight of hand, where it's like if we put this in, everyone's going, "Oh yeah, that's bound to be," and then you miss the other one, sort of thing. In a way, maybe I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited. It's really good. I mean, the comics are good, and it was Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez who did the comic. Joe Hill, who's got a famous dad, but don't use the name, who may be a king called Stephen. But yeah, season 2's coming back, and season 3 is also going to start as well. So they're going to start filming that. So we've at least got. I think that, to be honest, I think that helps them, especially what we were talking about just now with shows getting a second or third season or whatever. You know, they can actually plan out the stories a bit more, maybe in detail now, and make it more twisty and turny than even season 1 was, because they know they've got the space to tell those stories now, rather than panicking that this might be it. So we better make sure it wraps up nicely at the end, sort of thing. Yeah, no, I'm well up for that. I might have to go back and watch season 1 now.
That, you know, when you said you had some exciting breaking news, I was expecting Suicide 3 to be announced or some nonsense like that. So
what for?
Suicide Squad.
Free. Oh, it's Suicide Free. It's a bit different. But
Paul, so you've not watched Lock and Key at all?
No, so I haven't watched that yet. So I will give it. So I just remembered that For All Mankind season 2's out on Apple, and I haven't started watching that. So I was just working out what the time was now and whether I could get a couple of episodes in after we do the recording.
What are you going to do after we finish recording? Oh,
well, yeah, I've checked to see if Sandman's on iTunes, and it is not Audible rather, so I can potentially download that, or I could go for All Mankind season 2, or I can go for Lock and Key. I didn't have choices before the podcast. Now I do.
This is what we do. We open up doorways for you. So cool. Yeah, that is the news desk up to date.
So that just about wraps us up for today. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. Just search for Cult Faction. If you want to get in contact, our email address is cultfactionpodcast@mail.com. And for all the latest news and reviews and a chance to win the entire original Incredible Hulk TV series and TV movies on DVD, head over to cultfaction.com now, where you can enter the competition. It's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to Cult Faction Podcast episode 16.
Started now.
Witches and witches.
I was feeding you.
Seamless.
Bosh.
Can I feed the rabbit, George?
Stop saying that.
Five, 4, 1, 2, 1. Def.